Hello there! Here is a video presentation from the fifth group. So today's video we're gonna talking about differentiated instruction. But before that, let us introduce ourselves. I'm Novi Trenanda as the first speaker. Then there is Krishna Ariwibawa as the second speaker. Ayu Novi Adanise as the third speaker. And Nilo Sintayani as the last speaker.
So, first of all, let's take a look to the submaterial that we're gonna explain today. There are 7 concern points of differentiated instruction. So, first it is about its definition. Second, it is about its factor. Third, it is about its aims. Fourth, it is about its characteristics. 5, it is about its implementation. 6, it is about its specific elements to curriculum. 7, it is about its strengths and weaknesses. And the last, it will be the conclusion. So here is the first point of our presentation. It is about definition of differentiated instruction according to some expert. And here we are providing 3 experts saying about the definition of differentiated instruction. So the first, according to Sareva 2009, said that differentiated instruction is a teaching strategy which is adopted by the teacher in order to get some information of student similarities, of student differences, through observing their needs diversity in learning process, to find an appropriate teaching strategies that will be applied in the classroom. Second, it is according to Trujo 2004 in 4 2012 said that differentiated instruction is a teaching strategy where the teacher is presenting the same task, means that every students are learning the same things but in different ways according to their different levels, so they can approach it with their own ways. And the third, it is according to Tomlinson 2014 and Renkema 2014. She said that, or he said that, differentiated instruction is a teacher's response on students' individual needs through using some implementations such as a flexible grouping, ongoing assessment, and respectful tasks, which are all part of planning process. So we can conclude that differentiated instruction is a teaching strategy which look over students' diversity in order to make an appropriate teaching strategy in a variety of ways, such as like I said before, like a flexible grouping, ongoing assessment, and respectful tasks that can improve student outcomes well. So through the previous definition, we can conclude that there are some points why the teachers need to consider about the students' variety, which come from many factors that supported by Tomlinson 2001. First, because students have different interests, so there will be a variety of the ways students to find meaningful things based on what they are like in the learning process. And the second, because students learn in different way, which is based on their capability. As we know, in the classroom, there is a fast learner versus a slow learner. There is a passive learner versus a active learner, or maybe there is a student who have a good confidence and a student who have a lack of confidence. And the third, because every student have a different behavior in learning process, it means that in the classroom there is some student which thinks more constantly versus some student with things more abstractly, or even there is a student who learn independently and student who are learn independently in learning process. And the next, because not all students want to learn in the same way or make the same choices or even feel in control with the same rules. 5, different students exactly have different needs in learning process. And the last, its students in the classroom exactly come from a different society, come from different cultural, and come from different educational background. Well, the next point is about the aims of differentiated instruction according to some experts. And here we are provided three experts that says about the aims of differentiated instruction. The first is according to SMATS, 2017, said that to handle some diversities in the classroom, so it will provide any opportunity and an educational matter between the large variety of the students or learner itself. Second, according to Tomlinson in SMAT 2017, said that to help all students or all learners for maximizing their learning profit in a classroom based on their own characteristics. And the last, according to Ford 2012, said that to create a learning opportunities which provides any chance for the variety of how students learn in individual that have aims to make sure that they will get an equal of the academics access content and also help them to master the same key content together. The next point is about the characteristic of differentiated instruction according to Tomlinson 2001. And here I will explain the first three characteristics. The first one is about differentiated instruction is a student-centered. This aims to increase students' responsibility for their own learning progress, where here students need to be active in making and evaluating decision because learning experiences are more effective when they are engaging, when they are relevant, when they are interesting in learning process. Second, differentiated instruction is not individualized instruction of the 1970s. Means that this learning strategy have grown and experiences some changes. This type of teaching strategy is needed some variations of teaching instruction. And the third is about differentiated instruction is not chaotic. It is depends on teachers' capability, on handling, on managing, on monitoring the activity in the classroom well.
Hello, my name is Krishna. Thank you for the chance that given to me. I would like to continue the presentation about the characteristic of differentiated instruction, and I will present about number D. Number D is differentiated instruction is not just another way to provide homogeneous grouping. The characteristic of an effective differentiated instruction in the classroom is the use of flexible grouping, because in the class there are so many student characteristics such as fast and slow learners, passive and active learners, and also a learner has too much confidence and who has a lack of confidence. So it means that there is a group which always contain of students who are strong in some areas and some are weak in other areas, so they are completing for each other. While the teacher need to prepare some varieties named group configurations, so the student will experience many different working groups and arrangement in the classroom. The next is differentiated instruction is proactive. The teacher rule here are they need to be proactive, proactively to make or to provide some variative learning plans, because they realize that the different learners exactly have a different needs. So the teacher will avoid to force inappropriate plans when it clearly shows that it is not work for their learning outcomes goal. The next is differentiated instruction is more qualitative than quantitative. In here, students' learning process is being an important part of assessing them in order to see students progress in step by step. It means that in terms of quality, rather than just assess students by looking for their learning product or outcome only in terms of quality, it means that looking for a quality is more effective for assessing students because it matches the adjustment of assignment that students need. The next is differentiated instruction is rooted in assessment. In this case, good teacher will always looking for every opportunity with match with students' need. Therefore, linking to the previous point that says the quality is more important to be applied in assessing student progress, um, then the assessment itself will be the rooted of this strategy. To assess students, there are many ways, such as through conversation with individuals, doing classroom discussion, see students work, doing observation, and doing formal assessment. So through those varieties way, teacher can design the learning experience based of the result those expect properly. The next is differentiated instruction provides multiple approach to content, process, and product. Differentiated instruction consists of three elements. Number one, content is about input of what student learns. Number two, process is about how students are able to understand about the ideas and information. And number three, product is about output of the student ability on how to show their understanding about what they have learned before. The next is differentiated instruction is a blend of a whole class, group, and individual instruction. In this case, teacher can use a jigsaw technique to blend the whole element in class. Students will take a responsibility in showing an individual understanding, then share in a group after that student doing a presentation in front of the class. The next presentation will be presented by my friends. Thank you.
I am Lohayu Nopi Ardaningsih as the third speaker, and now we'll continue the presentation. In this slide, you will find the topic is about the implementation of differentiated instruction. The first is teacher must figure out what aspect can be differentiated. There are some aspects that the first is content, assessment, and process. Content is refers to what students are being taught. Here, teachers can teach the same content to all students, but teachers should consider when they need to change the teaching to different students in creating an equal outcome for every student. And then the next aspect is assessment. Assessment is refers to what types of final product that the teachers want to be student to complete. It can be the same assessment but with the different expectation. And then the last aspect is process. Process is refers to how the students are being taught in the learning process. And then the next implementation is profile student readiness. It's about what students currently understand about a topic or learning unit. It like the level of reading, writing, and oral skills. And then the next implementation is identify meaningful goals and objectives.
When teachers have already figured out what student needs and what the types of differentiation to use in the class, teachers need to be clear about their own goals. In this case, a goal is not always to help a student learn a specific thing, but it will indicate what ways teacher will go about helping students for maximizing student learning. The next point is create learning profiles. It is an important step in differentiating classroom experience, which include academic knowledge, like pre-assessment, writing pieces, and any formal or informal tasks that the teacher have prepared. It can help teacher grouping students together, figure out instructional strategies, and in addition, it will give teachers a reference for when they want to try out different instruction strategies in the next learning process. And then the last implementation is create the differentiated strategies with assessment data. And here are some ideas. The first is grouping. Teachers can lead students to work in groups based on their language ability. And another idea, teacher can give small group instruction, then teach one mini lesson at a time. And then the next ideas is providing visual support during instruction. In this case, teacher can provide drawings, concrete items, or photographs as their teaching media to help students more understand on what teacher said to them. And then the last ideas is tiered activities. Teacher gives student modified work, for example, is worksheets with a simple vocabulary. Teachers need to make sure that they keep the same academic content for all students. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Here is some differentiated instruction specific elements related to curriculum according to IMU 2010 Info 2012. The first one is content. Content is the information and skill that students need to learn. And the second is process. Process is how students use and show their own understanding toward to the content that they have learned before in the classroom. And the third is product. Product is the result, or we can say as student ability on how they show or perform about what they have learned before. And then the last is effect. Affect is the feelings and attitudes of students which can give effect for student learning process. Okay, that's all about the implementation and the differentiated instruction specific elements. For the next presentation, will continue by my friend.
Hello everyone, I'm Nila Sintayani as the last speakers. Now I want to continue the presentations today in the strengths and weaknesses of differentiated instructions. The strengths of differentiated instructions, according to 2020, there are three. The first is student-centered, the second is gives student choices, and the last is increases engagement. Student-centered, this approach makes sure that classes are focused on the needs of the students, not the needs of the teachers. Here, students need to observe the teacher's instructions. And the second is give students choice. Teachers allow students to learn in ways that they prefer, which can give a positive impact to the improvement of students' learning experience in the classroom. And the last is increases engagement. When students are taught lessons that targeted at their needs, so they are more get a feeling to engage in the learning materials, and it might develop a love of learning for them. And then the weaknesses of differentiated instructions according to Drew 2020. There are three also. The first is time consuming and resources intensive. And the second is cannot be done for every student. And the last is learning styles and unproven. Time consuming and research intensive, this strategy need a lot of researches. So it becomes very time consuming to make it with a variety of planning. And the second is cannot be done for every student. It is sound maybe like impossible to differentiate lesson for every single students. There are not enough hours in the day to create a lesson for all 25 students in the class. Therefore, teachers often make a variety lesson for small groups, not for individual students. And the last is learning styles are unproven. Unfortunately, extensive research showed that learning styles are an unproven concept. According to Caulfield et al. 2004 said that there is no valid research basis underpinning how learning styles taxonomies are developed, and there is no evidence that people are born better at learning in one way than another. And the last is the conclusions. Differentiated instructions is a teaching strategy where the teacher is doing observations in order to find an appropriate teaching strategy which gives a positive impacts to students' learning outcomes that consider to the assessment's quality rather than assessment's quantity. Okay, everyone, that's all our presentations today. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.